It was a cold winter night along the desolate Highway 89, which twisted through dense pine forests in the Alaskan interior. The gas station, known to few as Whispering Pine Stop, was seen by travelers as a last-chance refuge between towns. For locals, however, it held a far less innocent reputation. They said the station was a meeting point for forces not of this world, a sinister crossroads between reality and the shadow realm. Jackson, the night attendant, didn't see much traffic, but he could feel he wasn't alone. Bundled in a worn flannel coat, he lit a cigarette to ward off the chill, yet the sensation of being watched left him unsettled. The sky was overcast. The station's dim light fought against the dancing shadows of impenetrable trees. Jackson heard an indistinct whisper, a voice mingling with the wind, murmuring his name. Stories spoke of an ancient spirit, a vengeful guardian of those who died tragically on the road. Jackson didn't believe in ghosts, but when he heard footsteps from the forest, the ground trembled beneath him. His hands shook as he adjusted his coat collar, the echo of steps freezing his spine. Decades earlier, a horrific accident occurred on Highway 89. A family had been slaughtered in a bizarre crash. Their bodies never found, only the mangled car remained. Soon, drivers reported shadowy figures in the woods, pale specters wailing and shrieking in the dark night. Jackson fought exhaustion, draining another bottle of coffee. Glancing at the clock, he noticed something strange. Its hands spun backward, as if time here was damned to stand still. A car approached slowly, its piercing headlights barely cutting through the thick fog. It was an old-fashioned vehicle, painted in faded green, like a specter from a forgotten era. Jackson stepped closer, peering through the fogged window. No one sat at the wheel, yet the engine purred softly. When he looked closer, he saw a bloody hand pressed against the rear window, dripping what looked like fresh blood. Jackson leaped back, his heart racing as the car, guided by an invisible force, reversed and vanished into the woods. He dashed inside, grabbing the phone, but the line was dead, emitting only a ghostly hiss. Panic seized him as he fumbled for his cell phone, only to find it inexplicably drained. As a last resort, he switched on the radio behind the counter. Crackling static filled the air before forming a chilling message. "Come, join us!" Jackson slammed the radio off, his mind spiraling in horror as he stared out the window, desperate for sanity. He had to patrol outside, hands trembling as he grabbed a flickering flashlight. Wind whistled through trees, scattering leaves across the deserted road. Shadows trailed him, twisting into grotesque shapes near the gas pumps. Approaching the entrance again, he saw a paper stuck to the door, an old yellowed photo of a family before a familiar-looking house. Horror gripped Jackson as he recognized the children's faces, the same ones from the accident stories, their souls bound to this cursed road. Anxiety mounting, Jackson locked himself inside. Lights flickered wildly overhead. He knelt behind the counter, eyes fixed on the entrance. Upstairs, floorboards creaked like something heavy was moving. Everything paused abruptly, as if the night itself held its breath. When he lowered his guard, a knock rattled the front door. Cautiously, he peered out. Nothing, but an oppressive feeling lingered, as if evil hid in the darkness. Terrified, Jackson watched words form on the door, slow letters dripping in blood. "Join us!" He staggered back, gasping, the dark meaning searing his mind. Desperate, he shoved shelves to barricade the entrance, but he knew, deep down, it wouldn't hold. Glass shattered with a scream, and an invisible force swept through, shaking the floor. He realized he was surrounded, deafening knocks filling the air. With a final shred of hope, Jackson clutched an old cross hanging on the wall, trying to repel the closing evil. But nothing deterred the shadowy figures advancing. Their faces were carved darkness, eyes glowing accusatory and hungry. Whispers echoed like a grim chant, and he glimpsed chaos of form and color before utter blackness enveloped him. His screams were swallowed by the night, smothered by an icy, merciless hand. Then silence, When morning finally clawed in with light, another attendant arrived to find the station abandoned, a silence devouring all hope. Jackson had vanished without a trace. Only whispers rode the wind. The station remained, an eternal guardian of forgotten souls, seeking revenge on Alaska's darkest nights. Only the old flannel shirt still waited for its owner, as whispers wove their endless, mournful song. The new attendant, Tommy, knew some of the stories he'd thought them local myths. He entered, surveying the desolate scene, trying to ignore his unease at Jackson's abandoned flannel. The station hung in unsettling calm, like a breath held before catastrophe. By day, customers came sporadically, but as sunlight weakened, the forest's oppressive presence returned. As night fell, the temperature seemed to plummet. Shadows stretched, morphing into warped shapes. Tommy turned on the station lights, but they cast spectral, distorted reflections on the windows. A chill ran through him, eyes watched from beyond sight, as if a veil separating the living from a realm of whispers was tearing. Tommy doubted his sanity when whispers began soft and relentless. Not from the silent radio, but from the walls themselves, a chorus of tormented souls. Footsteps echoed outside. Fear seized him, but an unseen pull drew him to the window. On the road stood something he'd never forget, a procession of translucent figures, faces twisted in silent agony. They stared straight at Tommy, eyes hollow and piercing. A hand touched his shoulder from behind, though the station was empty. Turning, he saw a reflection in the glass, a grotesque shadow that shouldn't exist, grinning with frozen terror. Suddenly, a sharp knock at the glass made him whirl. There it was again. "You're next." Desperation took Tommy. He tried calling police, but the phone spat static. Weaponless, he grabbed a wrench absurd against the approaching horror. A low, raspy laugh seeped from shadows, raising every hair on his skin. The door shuddered, as if something clawed to get in each vibration a promise of dread. Tommy backed away, heart drumming. Lights began failing. He knew it was only a matter of time before darkness consumed him. He recalled another old attendant's words. "On Highway 89, don't let the night take you, it wants company." The words coiled in his mind, sealing his fate. Frantically, Tommy barricaded the door with chairs, toolboxes, anything to delay the inevitable. But efforts felt futile. The floor itself seemed treacherous. Whispers swelled to screams, a cacophony threatening to shatter him. He noticed shadows converging, circling him. The temperature dropped further as a figure materialized among the shadows, the source of the whispers, eyes vacant with eons of suffering. Tommy recognized it, a child from the shattered family, gaze accusing yet pleading. Terror paralyzed him, but he felt a strange sorrow for these ghosts trapped in purgatory. Energy crackled as the specter moved toward him, silhouetted against flickering lights. An invisible force hurled Tommy backward onto cold tile. Gasping, he heard glass shatter. Something was inside now, a dark presence carrying the road's lament. An invisible grip yanked his ankle, dragging him toward madness. His final scream drowned in a curtain of darkness, swallowed by a bottomless pit of despair. By morning, the mystery persisted. Another attendant would find the station cold and empty of familiar chaos. Highway 89's cycle continued, an unsolvable puzzle where only whispers kept the story alive for those who dared listen.